someone was outside, laughing. "You wanted to shine, Abby?" the voice said. "Wear your beads, call your spirits." Then Shola backed up and smashed her head into the wall again and again. Blood sprayed. The vision faded. I didn't sleep that night. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw her, Shola, slamming her head on the wall, her blood painting it like a warning. And every time I opened my eyes, the beads were still there, still warm, still wet. I waited till my bunkmates were asleep, then snuck outside with a pair of school scissors I took from the art room. I went behind the dormitory block, near the wash lines. The moon was out, but the light wasn't enough. Still, I sat on a block and lifted my shirt. The beads looked darker now. The red parts were nearly black, like scabs. I took the scissors and tried to cut. They didn't move. I pulled one strand tight and forced the blade underneath. Snip. Nothing. The blades barely scratched them. I tried again, this time harder. The scissors snapped in half. My hand started to shake. I grabbed a sharp stone and began to rub against the beads. But the more I tried, the more it felt like I was cutting into my own skin. I screamed and dropped the rock. Then I heard it. Laughter. Not one voice, two, three whispers coming from the laundry lines. Shadows stood between the uniforms. Girls, at least 4 of them, wearing old school uniforms. Their faces were blurry, except for the waist beads they wore, glowing red, just like mine. One girl stepped forward. She had no eyes, just 2 black holes. She pointed at my waist and said, "You called us when you asked for beauty." I ran. I didn't stop until I reached Auntie Fashad's door. I banged hard, tears on my face, my heart racing. She opened slowly. "You tried to cut them?" she asked. I nodded. She shook her head. "They don't come off, Titi." "Then what do?" I cried. She looked past me, like she saw something coming down the corridor. "You wait," she whispered, "for the choosing." Auntie Fashad didn't sleep either. She poured water into a clay cup and made me sit on a small stool beside her. Her room smelled like burnt herbs and bitter leaf. There were tiny wooden carvings on her windowsill, some missing limbs, some without eyes. She didn't speak for a long time, just looked at me like she was trying to see through me. Then she said, "You know why the beads won't break?" I shook my head. She pointed to the lamp flame. "Because they're not just beads, they're promises, and promises don't die easy." I felt a chill run through me. She continued, "The first girl who wore them, her name was Moronkeji. Pretty girl, too pretty for her own good." Auntie Folashad's voice dropped to a whisper. She wanted to be special, not just beautiful, powerful. "Powerful how?" I asked. She rubbed her palms slowly. She wanted people to obey her, love her, fear her. So she went to someone, a woman who used to live in the forest behind the school. The woman gave her the beads and warned her, "You'll shine, but you must never take them off and never let the wrong hands touch them." I was holding my waist, breathing shallow. "What happened to Moronkeji?" I asked. "She got what she wanted. Boys fought over her. Girls bowed to her, even teachers. But one day, someone touched the beads. By mistake? No, on purpose. A girl wanted to steal her shine." My blood went cold. "She didn't survive that night. Her name was Bisi." "And then what?" I asked, barely whispering. Auntie Folashade leaned closer. "She died, but the beads didn't. They moved. They always move." "To who?" I asked, though I already knew. "To the next girl who wants too much," she said, "who sees more than her hands can carry." She looked at me again. "You're not the first, and you won't be the last." I couldn't sleep after Auntie Folashad's story. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw Moronkeji's perfect face twist into something rotten. I saw Bisi's hand reaching out, and then nothing, just red and silence. When the morning bell rang, my hands went straight to my waist. The beads were still there, still tight, still warm, like they had their own pulse. I kept thinking about what Auntie Fashad said. The beads move to the next girl who wants too much. That was Shola, wasn't it? She wanted attention, popularity, shine, everything she thought the world owed her, even if it meant wearing something cursed. Sometimes evil doesn't chase you, it waits until you stop running. I didn't go back to the dorm that night. I slept under the old mango tree beside the fence. My body shivered on the cold soil, but it was safer than being anywhere near Shola. When I finally crept back into the dormitory at dawn, it was quiet. Too quiet. Everyone was still asleep. I climbed into bed, pulled my wrapper over my head, and prayed hard. When I woke up, I found a gift on my pillow. A small black box, tied with red thread. I didn't open it. I didn't have to. I already knew what was inside. But when I touched it, the warmth from the box ran through my fingers, straight to my waist, and the beads tightened painfully. I rushed to the bathroom and tried pulling them off, yanking and scratching at them like a mad person, but they wouldn't move. I started talking to myself. At first, it was just whispers, quiet prayers. Please God, remove them. Please God, take this away. But then I started hearing a second voice in my head, soft at first, then louder, then mocking. You're one of us now, Titi. Smile. It was the same voice I heard in the bathroom mirror. Every night I checked to see if the beads were still there. They always were. Tighter, darker, shinier. Now they didn't just sit on my waist. They moved, like they were breathing. Sometimes I'd feel a tug just before sleep, like someone was pulling me from inside. Then one night I saw the girl. Not in my dreams, not in the mirror. In real life. She was in the school bathroom brushing her teeth. I walked past the open door and saw her. She had my hair, my face, my uniform, but she didn't blink, she didn't breathe, she just stared at me. Then slowly her smile stretched, wider than any real face should go. I screamed, ran down the hall, banged on doors, shouted for help. Nobody came. The next day they said I was found asleep on the bathroom floor, alone, no other girl, no blood, no beads. But I know what I saw, I know what I felt. I'm not alone in my body anymore. The beads chose me. And now I think they're wearing me from the inside out. When the beads tighten, they don't just hold you, they take everything. That night I understood everything. The beads weren't just a curse, they were a warning. I wasn't the first to want what wasn't mine. Shola wasn't the first to be consumed, and the abandoned room, it was never meant to be opened. The school knew. Teachers whispered about it. They said bad things happened there years ago. Girls disappeared. Whispers said the room was cursed. But we were children. We laughed it off. I learned the hard way why we should listen. That night, after the beads tightened and the pain overwhelmed me, my mother came. She had heard about my strange behavior from the school. She didn't scold me. She cried. She told me stories about her own mother, my grandmother, and the power of being grateful. She said, Titi, God gives us only what we need. When we want more, we open doors to darkness. The school principal and counselors came too. They talked about mental health, about respecting the past, and about the dangers of ignoring warnings. The abandoned room was finally opened, evacuated, and transformed into a skill acquisition center. I spent weeks recovering. The beads never came back, but I still feel the weight of what happened. I learned to be content with what I have, no matter how small, to never compare myself with others, because that hunger can destroy, to respect the stories and warnings of those who came before me, to stay away from abandoned places. They hold memories and powers we don't understand. If you ever see something that isn't yours or a place you're told to avoid, listen. Sometimes craving what's not meant for you brings shadows that don't leave. The waist beads taught me that, and I will never forget.